Like for example, let's say an option is trading at 30 rupees and it's 1 hour remaining for the expiry. Now this option moves from 30 to 50 and everyone is interested to buy it all of a sudden. Everyone thinks it will shoot higher and it's the right time to buy.
Gambling has been in our nature ever since we were Homo sapiens, but as time passed, we started to rely on more consistent options that were more inclined towards slow but sure growth rather than win it or lose it all approach. But if you notice, if given the chance, this gambling nature of ours finds a way to surface somehow. You can see that when people are betting on lottery tickets or when they are buying out of the money options on Thursdays. I got you there, didn't I? Well, jokes apart, Hero Zero trades are a gamble, yes, and to make consistent money out of gambling isn't that easy. So if you are someone who is into options buying and love taking Hero Zero trades, this video is for you. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Shrish here from Trading Explained, and now without any further ado, let's begin.
So let's start the video by understanding what a Hero Zero trade is. I'm pretty sure most of you already know what it is, but for those who do not know anything about it, Hero Zero trade involves betting on a cheaply priced option, usually an OTM, on an expiry day. Now you might ask, why particularly on an expiry day? Well, because on an expiry day, options keep losing their value over time and hence they keep getting cheaper. In the money and at the monies start to erode, OTMs, that is out of the money options, start inching towards zero. But if any sudden movement occurs, these options that were losing their value start shooting higher in a matter of seconds, thereby allowing us a window of opportunity to mint money quickly. Also, as the name suggests, these Hero Zero trades are a bit peculiar in themselves. They don't have a concept of stop loss or target. They are literally a hero or a zero, meaning either you make money or lose the complete sum of what you had risked. There's a reason I called it a gamble in the intro. Anyway, now that you know what a Hero Zero trade is, let's move on and understand the 3 most important points you need to know before taking a Hero Zero trade. Most people understand what a Hero Zero trade is, but fail to understand what it means to take a Hero Zero trade. As mentioned previously, these trades don't have any concept of stop loss or target. Therefore, any amount you bet on a Hero Zero trade will most likely be zero if the trade doesn't work out. Unfortunately, many people don't realize this fact before punching a Hero Zero trade. When their analysis goes wrong and heavy theta decay comes into play, that's when they realize that they have made a huge mistake by taking too many quantities. So you need to know this thing beforehand and risk only what you can completely afford to lose. If the risked amount goes to zero, it shouldn't bother you. Trading options is difficult as it is, but when you try trading the out of the money options, it's basically playing with fire. Out of the money options are meant to go to zero, and hence making a play out of it can be very difficult. But despite all this, if you could time the markets correctly, it is possible to come out on the winning side. Now I know what you're thinking. He must be crazy. He's talking about timing the markets. Well, yes, I might sound crazy, but with enough practice, it's possible to time the markets. It's possible to be a sniper. It's possible to get an edge purely out of your timing of entries. And that's exactly what you need to do when taking a Hero Zero trade. Well, I never told it's going to be easy. Now, when we talk about timing the markets well, it's almost mandatory to analyze markets on a smaller time frame. You can't keep a check on every move if you are analyzing on higher time frames like 10 or 15 minutes. So, switching to lower time frames like 1 and 3 minutes plays a very subtle but important role in taking Hero Zero trades. One thing to keep in mind though is that analyzing charts on smaller time frames put an enormous amount of pressure on your brain and sucks your mental energy completely. Hence, keeping yourself hydrated every now and then is extremely important. Now that you know the prerequisites for taking a Hero Zero trade, let me explain the most important aspect of it, the entry. In trading they say exit defines everything, and I agree to it as well. But I believe your exit cannot provide you an edge, but your entry can. Taking high probability entries is an underrated skill. It not only gives you time to react, but also makes sure to keep your losses in check. Your psychology stays intact when your entry is right on the money, and it also helps you scale out your position better. All in all, for all other trades, I agree, exit defines everything. But for a hero zero trade, it's the entry that defines everything. Now that you know the importance of taking a good entry, let's understand how to actually take one. When we talk about taking an entry in hero zero trades, most people get it wrong. They enter when the gamma effect comes into play and panic even if it retraces a bit. Like for example, let's say an option is trading at 30 rupees and it's 1 hour remaining for the expiry. Now this option moves from 30 to 50 and everyone is interested to buy it all of a sudden. Everyone thinks it will shoot higher and it's the right time to buy. But guess what? Market knows it all. So to remove the weak hands, it retraces from 50 to maybe 35, 38, 40 levels and everyone starts panicking. And because this is happening very fast, you don't get time to think or react. So most people exit in panic at 35, 38, 40 levels, and guess what? That's when it starts shooting higher. So what to do? How to avoid getting trapped like this? Well, for that, it's important to either enter before gamma spikes comes into play, or if you missed it, wait and enter on a pullback or a retracement rather than punching market orders at higher levels. Never ever punch a hero zero trade when it is shooting higher. Never take your entries when you see those big green candles coming into play, because at that point your mind is not thinking logically. It is just the fear of missing out that you feel and you start punching random entries in those big green candles. If you have made that mistake in the past, you can pretty much relate to what I'm talking about. Because you see, when those big green candles are forming on the chart, what do you think is going on in the minds of most of the people? I can tell you that it's only one thing: buy.
25 दिन में पैसा डबल 25 दिन में पैसा डबल.
Because if anyone is trading that chart, will start to feel the fear of missing out. Pretty much every person looking at that chart will start to feel as if the option is going to double out from there. And that is the exact reason why it never happens. As the legendary trader Jesse Livermore has once said, stock markets are made to fool most of the people most of the time. And you always need to keep this thing in mind. If any trade looks obvious to you, then that is going to be a trap. That trade will never work out. Because everyone is looking at the charts the same way. Herd mentality is coming into play there, and that is why it never works out. And that thing you need to keep in mind always. You cannot forget that thing. You cannot forget that if any trade is obvious, it's not going to work out. And this thing applies to a hero zero trade as well. That is why if you want your hero zero trades to work out, it's extremely important to take your entries on the lower levels, because that might be the very reason it might work out. Because if you start punching your entries like everyone else, if you start thinking like everyone else, why do you think the markets will give you money and not to the 1,000 others? Right? Logical point, right? So you need to remember this thing every single time before you punch a trade. Now let me show you an example of a hero zero trade, one that I took myself on Thursday expiry 14th of July 2022. Let's head to it. It was a usual Thursday, nothing crazy was going on. I just happened to find an OTM which had a support zone at 25-26 levels. So I marked that support zone, put my entry over there and waited for markets to come at that point. After market came to that point and gave me an entry, I put my stop loss in the system and waited for some time. I gave some time to the markets to react, and this is very important. This is where most people make mistakes. Even when they are right on the direction, they punch heavy quantities and start panicking even if the market moves just a bit against them, and they start exiting their positions without even giving the market the time to react. So if you do not give the market the time to react, how will you know whether you are right or wrong? You cannot expect your targets to get hit in 2 seconds, right? You need some time, you need to give some time to the markets, right? And that is very important. So after giving some time, I understood that market is actually moving in my favor, and as soon as it did, I trailed my stop loss. So that is how you need to take a hero zero trade. Now, few things to keep in mind in this trade were the entry point, the negation point and the target. Now I was very clear about my targets because I knew this was a retracement move. I knew that it will hardly move 20 or 30 points in my favor and then drop again to 0. So I exactly knew where my target was. I also knew where my negation point was, also known as the stop loss. So my plan was, if that option started to drop below 15 before retracing back, then I will exit my position. Because if it really wants to take a support at the support zone, it won't really drop down that much. So I had my things clear in mind, the target, the stop loss and my entry. And the same thing you need to do as well. You need to have a clear understanding about what you are doing, only and only then those hero zero trades will work out. Otherwise, these things are gamble. I hope this video has helped you in some or the other way. I hope you learned something out of it, and if you did, then make sure to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel, because I keep coming back with such videos that revolve around trading, trading psychology, trading success, trading consistency. Everything that you need to know about trading you will find on this channel. So make sure to subscribe. I will see you in the next one. Until then, you guys take care. Bye bye. Peace out.